The blood trail led straight to her doorstep, and Maya knew three things with absolute certainty. Something was dying in her alley, her landlord would evict her if he found out, and she had exactly $4.23 left until Friday. She stood at the mouth of the alley, her feet screaming in protest after 14 hours at the diner. The August heat had baked the garbage smell into something solid, but underneath it was something else. Something metallic and fresh. Blood. Maya should have walked away. She should have climbed the 3 flights to her studio apartment, locked the door, and pretended she'd seen nothing. That's what smart people did in this neighborhood. That's what survivors did. Instead, she followed the dark spatters past the overflowing dumpster. The creature was massive, too large to be any dog she'd ever seen. It lay on its side in the shadows, silver-tinged fur matted with blood, ribs heaving with shallow breaths. In the dim light from the street lamp, its coat seemed to shimmer like moonlight on water. "Hey there," Maya whispered, crouching down despite every survival instinct screaming at her to run. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The animal's eyes snapped open, amber, bright as coins, and far too intelligent for any dog. They locked onto her face, and for a moment, Maya forgot to breathe. She'd never seen eyes like that. Human eyes in an animal's face. The creature growled, low and warning, but didn't move. Couldn't move, maybe. A deep gash ran along its shoulder, and its back leg bent at an unnatural angle. "I know," Maya said softly. "I know it hurts. But you can't stay here. Mr. Kowalski will call animal control, and they'll..." She stopped. "They'd put it down, probably. This beautiful, strange creature with silver fur and golden eyes. She couldn't let that happen." Maya stood up, testing the weight of her decision. She had half a rotisserie chicken in her apartment, her meals for tomorrow and the next day. She had a first aid kit she'd shoplifted from CVS when her own cuts from broken diner plates got infected. She had a threadbare blanket and a floor that leaked cold air in winter. She had almost nothing. "Come on," she said, moving slowly toward the creature. "Let me help you." The animal watched her approach, those amber eyes tracking every movement. When she reached out her hand, it didn't snap at her. Didn't even growl. Just watched, as if it were weighing her soul and finding it acceptable. Getting the creature up the stairs was a nightmare. It must have weighed close to 200 pounds, and Maya wasn't much over 100 herself. But the animal seemed to understand what she was trying to do. It leaned on her, limping on 3 legs, as she half-dragged, half-carried it up 3 flights. By the second landing, her lungs were burning. By the third, she was seeing stars. "Almost there," she gasped. "Just a little further." Inside her apartment, she cleared a space on the floor, spreading out her blanket. The creature collapsed onto it with a sound that was almost a sigh. Up close, in the light, it was even more magnificent. And more wrong. Dogs didn't get this big. Dogs didn't have paws the size of dinner plates, or teeth that looked like they could tear through steel. Maya pushed the thoughts away and focused on what she could control. She filled a bowl with water, and the creature drank gratefully. Then she retrieved the chicken from her refrigerator, her only food until Friday, and tore it into pieces. The animal ate carefully, almost delicately, never snapping or lunging. Those amber eyes never left her face. "You're welcome," Maya said, settling beside it with her first aid kit. The gash on its shoulder was deep, but clean. No infection yet, at least. She cleaned it as best she could, using hydrogen peroxide that made the creature flinch but not pull away. The back leg worried her more. Definitely broken, but she couldn't afford a vet any more than she could afford her own doctor. "I'm sorry," she whispered, wrapping the leg as carefully as she could. "This is all I can do." When she finished, exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. Maya dragged herself to her mattress on the floor, no bed frame, that had been sold last year, and fell asleep still wearing her diner uniform, smelling of grease and coffee and blood. She woke to sunlight streaming through her grimy window and an empty blanket. Maya sat up so fast her head spun. The blanket lay exactly where she'd spread it, but the creature was gone. The water bowl was empty. The chicken bones were clean. But there was no massive silver-furred animal in her apartment. "Hello?" she called, feeling foolish. "Are you here?" Nothing. Just the sounds of the building waking up, toilets flushing, babies crying, the couple next door already screaming at each other. Maya stood and immediately saw the blood. Not much, just a few drops leading to her fire escape window. She followed them, her heart pounding, and found the window open. The rusty fire escape swayed slightly in the breeze. Caught on the railing was a scrap of fabric, expensive fabric, she realized, running it between her fingers. Silk, maybe, or something even finer. Dark and smooth and completely out of place in her world of polyester uniforms and second-hand everything. She leaned out the window and looked down. There, on the metal landing below, were paw prints. Massive paw prints pressed into the morning dew, each one as big as her hand. They led down the fire escape and disappeared. Maya stared at those prints for a long moment, her mind trying to make sense of what she was seeing. No dog left prints that big. No dog healed from wounds like that overnight, because she was certain if the creature had still been badly injured, it never could have climbed out her window. "What are you?" she whispered to the empty air. The sound of heavy footsteps on her apartment stairs snapped her back to reality. She knew those footsteps. Knew the wheeze that came with them. Mr. Kowalski. Maya shoved the fabric into her pocket and slammed the window shut just as the pounding started on her door. "Martinez. Open this door." She took a breath, smoothed down her wrinkled uniform, and opened up. Her landlord filled the doorway, red-faced and sweating despite the morning cool. His eyes were mean, they were always mean, but today they had an extra edge to them. "You want to explain the blood in my hallway?" he demanded. "Blood?" Maya tried to look confused. She'd perfected that look over the years. "Don't play stupid with me. Blood on the stairs. Blood in the alley. You bringing trouble to my building? I don't know what you're talking about." "Shut up." He pushed past her into the apartment, his bulk making her tiny space feel even smaller. "I find anything illegal in here, you're out. I find drugs, you're out. I find so much as an unauthorized goldfish, you're out. You understand me?" Maya stood very still, barely breathing, while he pawed through her things. There wasn't much to search: a hot plate, a mini fridge, a duffel bag of clothes. He couldn't find what wasn't there. When he finally gave up, he turned to her with disgust. "Rent's due Friday. You're already behind from last month. I don't see every penny by Friday at 6 p.m., your stuff's on the street. Got it?" "I got it," Maya said quietly. He left, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Maya sank onto her mattress, shaking. Rent was $650. She had $4.23. Even with her paycheck Friday, she'd only have around $380. She was short. Way short. Her inhaler sat on the windowsill, next to her pill bottle. The inhaler was empty, had been for 3 days. The pills would run out by tomorrow. She needed both. The asthma, she could maybe manage. But without the pills for her heart condition, she'd end up in the emergency room within a week. She'd done that before. It wasn't pretty. Rent or medication? Medication or rent? Maya pulled the scrap of expensive fabric from her pocket and rubbed it between her fingers. Somewhere out there was a creature that shouldn't exist, healed by her kindness, walking around on a broken leg that somehow wasn't broken anymore. She'd helped it anyway, knowing she had nothing to spare. And now she had even less than nothing. Worth it, she whispered to herself, though her hands wouldn't stop shaking. It was worth it. She just hoped she'd still believe that come Friday, when she was choosing between a roof over her head and the medicine keeping her alive. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 2. Maya knew something was wrong the moment she turned onto her street. The black SUVs lined the curb like a funeral procession, sleek, expensive, and completely out of place in this neighborhood where car alarms were just background noise. There had to be at least 6 of them, maybe more, their windows tinted so dark they looked like they'd swallowed the streetlights whole. Her first instinct was to turn around. Walk away. Whatever was happening, it wasn't her problem. But her apartment was up there. Her meager belongings. The few things she had left of her parents. Maya gripped her diner apron tighter and kept walking. The people standing around the vehicles were just as out of place as the cars. Beautiful people. Not regular beautiful, the kind of beautiful that made you want to stare and look away at the same time, like looking at the sun. They wore clothes that probably cost more than Maya made in a year, and they all turned to watch her approach with identical expressions of mild interest. It felt like being examined by a pack of wolves. Her building's entrance was blocked by 2 men who could have been carved from stone. Both well over 6 feet, both built like they ate smaller men for breakfast. They didn't stop her as she approached, but they didn't move either. "I live here," Maya said, hating how small her voice sounded. "We know," the one on the left said. His voice was surprisingly gentle. "3rd floor, apartment 3C. He's waiting for you." "Who's?" But they'd already stepped aside. Maya's heart hammered as she climbed the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last. The hallway to her apartment was empty, but she could hear her neighbors, could hear them being very, very quiet behind their doors. The kind of quiet that happened when something dangerous walked through. Standing in front of her door was a man. No, that wasn't right. Men didn't look like this. Men were the guy who hit on her at the diner, or Mr. Kowalski with his mean eyes and beer gut. This was something else entirely. He stood at least 6.5 feet tall, broad-shouldered and lean in a way that suggested coiled strength. Dark hair, perfectly styled in that careless way that probably took an hour. Sharp jawline. Expensive suit that fit him like it had been painted on. And eyes. Amber eyes. Those same impossible amber eyes that had watched her from a blood-soaked alley floor. "You," Maya whispered. His lips curved into a smile that didn't reach those predator eyes. "Hello, Maya." The way he said her name, low and warm, like whiskey and honey, made something flutter in her stomach. She pushed the feeling down hard. "How do you know my name?" "I know everything about you." He took a step closer, and Maya's back hit the wall before she realized she'd moved. Maya Elena Martinez, born September 14, 22 years ago. Parents died in a car accident when you were 16. 3 jobs, the diner, the grocery store, and weekend cleaning at the office building on 5th. Night classes at the community college, though you've had to drop out twice due to lack of funds. You have a heart condition that requires daily medication, and severe asthma that's gotten worse since you can't afford your prescriptions. Maya's chest tightened. You can't just. "And 2 nights ago," he continued, his voice dropping lower, "you found a wounded wolf in an alley. You brought him into your home. Fed him your only food. Tended his wounds. Saved his life. I don't know what you're talking about." The lie tasted bitter. Those amber eyes flickered with something that might have been amusement. "Don't you?" He moved faster than she could track, and suddenly he was inches away. Close enough that she could smell him, cedar and smoke and something wild, like a forest after rain. He reached up slowly, giving her time to pull away, and brushed his fingers along her jawline. His touch burned. "You have a scar here," he said softly. "Small. Right at your temple. You got it when you were 7, fell off your bike trying to keep up with the older kids. And here," his fingers traced down to her collarbone. "This one's from the diner, 3 months ago. Dropped a plate and cut yourself cleaning up the pieces because you couldn't afford for them to dock your pay." Maya couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. "How?" "Because I remember, Maya. I remember every second of that night. Every touch. Every kindness. He pulled back slightly, and she could finally drag air into her lungs. My name is Dominic Ashford. I am the Alpha King of the Northern Territories. And I owe you a blood debt. A what? A life debt. You saved my life. By the old laws older than your country, older than your civilization, I am bound to repay you. Anything you want, anything you need. You name it, and it's yours. Maya stared at him. At this impossible man with his amber eyes and expensive suit, standing in her grimy hallway like he owned it. Maybe he did. Maybe he owned everything. You're insane, she said finally. I'm a werewolf, he corrected, as if this were a completely reasonable thing to say. As are the 53 members of my pack currently securing this building. As was the wolf you saved 2 nights ago. That was me, Maya. And now I'm here to give you whatever you want. Her mind spun. Werewolves. Packs. Alpha Kings. It was too much. Too impossible. But those eyes, she remembered those eyes. And the way his wounds had healed overnight. And the massive paw prints on her fire escape. I don't want anything, she said. Everyone wants something. Not from you. Something flashed in his eyes, surprise, maybe, or annoyance. You're refusing? I don't take charity. It's not charity. It's a debt. There's a difference. Maya pushed off the wall, forced herself to stand straight even though he towered over her. I helped an injured animal. I don't need payment for basic human decency. But you're not dealing with humans anymore. His voice was harder now, edged with something that made her hindbrain scream danger. You're dealing with wolves. And wolves pay their debts. Always. Then consider it paid. You're alive. That's enough. For a long moment, he just stared at her. Then he laughed, a real laugh that transformed his face from devastating to something even more dangerous. Beautiful. Stubborn, he said. I like that. But you're making this difficult. Good. Maya. He leaned in again, and this time his voice was almost gentle. I can smell your illness. I can hear your heartbeat, it's irregular, struggling. I can see the way you favor your left side because your ribs hurt from coughing. You need help, whether you want to admit it or not. Heat flooded her face. That's none of your. What do you need? Right now. What's the one thing that would make your life easier? She wanted to tell him to leave. Wanted to slam her door in his perfect face and pretend this conversation never happened. But her pill bottle was empty. Her inhaler was empty. And Friday was coming fast. My medication, she heard herself say. I need my medication. That's all. How much? $300. The silence that followed was deafening. Maya looked up to find Dominic staring at her with an expression she couldn't read. Behind him, several impossibly beautiful people had appeared in the hallway, his pack, she assumed. They were all staring too, with identical expressions of shock. $300, Dominic repeated slowly. The prescriptions are expensive. Insurance doesn't cover. I know what you need the money for. I'm asking, you saved the life of an Alpha King, and all you want is $300? It's all I need. A man stepped forward from the pack, tall, blonde, with the same predatory grace they all seemed to share. She's joking, right? This is a negotiation tactic? No, Dominic said, his eyes never leaving Maya's face. She's serious. But, Alpha, $300? You could give her millions. A house. A car. Marcus. One word, but it cracked like a whip. The blonde man immediately shut up and stepped back. Dominic reached into his jacket and pulled out a wallet. From it, he extracted a black credit card that seemed to catch the light in strange ways. He held it out to her. No limit, he said. Use it for whatever you need. I just told you. I heard you. 300 for medication. Use this for that. But keep the card. In case you need anything else. I won't. Keep it anyway. When she didn't take it, he caught her hand and pressed the card into her palm. His skin was hot, almost feverish. Please. The please did it. Maya closed her fingers around the card, hating herself a little. Just the medication. Then I'm giving this back. We'll see. He stepped back, and the pack parted around him like water. But before he could leave, Marcus moved closer, his expression troubled. Alpha, we need to discuss the security situation. Dominic's jaw tightened. Not here. She should know. She's involved now, whether we like it or not. Know what? Maya asked. Dominic turned back to her, and for the first time, she saw something like worry cross his face. The attack that wounded me, it wasn't random. There are traitors in my pack. Wolves who want me dead. They're still out there. What does that have to do with me? Everything. Marcus's voice was grave. You've been seen with the Alpha. You're connected to him now. Which means you're a target. The words hit like ice water. A target? For what? For anyone who wants to hurt me, Dominic said quietly. I'm sorry, Maya. I never intended to put you in danger. But they'll come for you. It's only a matter of time. Then take your card back. Forget you ever met me. It doesn't work that way. They've already seen you. The scent of my blood is in your apartment. To another wolf, you might as well have my name tattooed on your forehead. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. I can protect you. I will protect you. But you need to let me. I don't need protection. I need you to leave. Maya. Get out. Her voice shook, but she forced the words out. All of you. Just get out. For a moment, she thought he might argue. But then Dominic nodded once, sharp and final. As you wish. But I'm leaving 2 guards outside your building. Don't argue, he added when she opened her mouth. They're not for you. They're for me. Because if something happens to you, I'll never forgive myself. He turned and walked away, his pack flowing after him like a tide. Within moments, the hallway was empty except for the fading scent of cedar and smoke. Maya stood there for a long time, the credit card burning in her hand. She was locking her apartment door the next morning when Mrs. Chen appeared. Maya had seen the old woman around the building, always quiet, always alone. She lived on the first floor and kept to herself. But now she stood at the top of the stairs, her dark eyes fixed on Maya with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. Mrs. Chen? Are you okay? You met him, the old woman said. Her accent was thick, her voice rough with age. The Alpha King. Maya's stomach dropped. How did you? I could smell him. All the way down to my apartment. Cedar and smoke and power. Mrs. Chen moved closer, her step surprisingly quick for someone who had to be at least 80. That man is dangerous, child. I know. His friend Marcus told me. No. Mrs. Chen grabbed her arm, her grip surprisingly strong. You don't understand. He's dangerous, but not for the reasons you think. Tell me, did he seem interested? Did he look at you strangely? I don't know what you mean. The old woman leaned in, sniffing at Maya's hair, her neck. Maya tried to pull away, but those fingers were like iron. Moonflower and silver sage, Mrs. Chen whispered. I can smell it on you. Your scent. Do you know what that means? No, It means you're. The door to the building slammed open. 2 men rushed up the stairs, the same 2 who'd been guarding the entrance yesterday. They moved with that same predatory grace, and their eyes were locked on Mrs. Chen. Found you, one of them said. Mrs. Chen's face went white. No. Please. I've been good. I've been quiet. I haven't broken any laws. Evelyn Chen, former member of the Western Pack. You're wanted for questioning regarding the events of 20 years ago. You need to come with us. 20 years, Mrs. Chen said, her voice breaking. I've been hiding for 20 years. And now, because of her, she looked at Maya with something like pity. I'm sorry, child. You're in more danger than you know. When he realizes what you are. One of the men grabbed her arm. That's enough. Wait, Maya said. What is she talking about? What am I? But they were already dragging Mrs. Chen down the stairs. The old woman didn't fight, didn't scream. She just looked back at Maya with those dark, knowing eyes. Run, she mouthed. Then she was gone. Maya stood frozen in the hallway, her heart pounding. Moonflower and silver sage. What did that mean? And why had Mrs. Chen looked at her with such fear and pity? She should go to work. Forget this happened. Forget all of it. Instead, she pulled out her phone and stared at the number Dominic had programmed into it last night while she wasn't looking. She'd found it this morning, labeled simply Alpha. Maya shoved the phone back in her pocket and headed for the stairs. Work was a blur. Maya moved through her shift on autopilot, refilling coffee and taking orders and trying not to think about amber eyes and old women being dragged away and the word target echoing in her head. By the time her shift ended at midnight, she was exhausted. Her chest felt tight. She'd used the credit card to fill her prescriptions that morning, and the medication was helping, but stress made everything worse. The walk home took her through 3 blocks of poorly lit streets. Usually, Maya didn't mind. She'd walked these streets for years. Knew which alleys to avoid, which corners attracted trouble. Tonight felt different. She was being followed. She knew it with the same certainty she'd known about the wounded wolf in the alley. Every shadow seemed to hide something. Every sound made her flinch. Maya walked faster. The alley was a shortcut, one she'd taken 1,000 times. But tonight, when she turned the corner, 3 figures stepped out of the darkness. Not men. Wolves. They were still in human form, but there was nothing human in their eyes. They moved with that same predatory grace, circling her like sharks. 2 men and a woman, all of them young and hungry-looking. Well, the woman said. Her smile showed too many teeth. The Alpha's little pet. We were hoping we'd find you. Maya backed up until her shoulders hit the brick wall. I don't know what you want. We want to send a message, one of the men said. And you're going to deliver it. Or what's left of you will, anyway. They moved closer. Maya's hand closed around her keys, the only weapon she had. Her mind raced through her options. Scream? Run? Fight? None of them would work. The woman lunged first. And then Dominic was there. Maya didn't see him arrive. 1 second the woman was mid-leap, claws extending where her fingernails had been. The next, Dominic had her by the throat, slamming her into the ground so hard the pavement cracked. The 2 men rushed him together. It didn't matter. Dominic moved like violence personified, fast, efficient, brutal. He caught the first man's punch and broke his arm with a twist that made Maya's stomach turn. The second man got a kick to the chest that sent him flying into the dumpster. The woman tried to get up. Dominic's foot on her spine kept her down. Who sent you? His voice was calm. That was somehow more terrifying than if he'd been angry. Fuck you, the woman spat. Wrong answer. Maya heard the snap before she understood what happened. The woman's scream cut off abruptly. You killed her, Maya whispered. No. Broke her back. She'll heal. Dominic turned to the other 2, who were trying to crawl away. But if you ever come near her again, if you so much as look in her direction, I will tear you apart slowly enough that you'll beg for death. Do you understand? They nodded frantically. Get out of my territory. Take this trash with you. He kicked the woman's unconscious body. And tell whoever sent you, tell them that Maya Martinez is under the protection of the Alpha King. Anyone who touches her answers to me. The two men grabbed their companion and ran, moving with supernatural speed. And then it was just Maya and Dominic in the blood-spattered alley. He turned to her, and his eyes were glowing, actually glowing, like molten gold. Are you hurt? Maya shook her head. She couldn't speak. Couldn't process what she'd just seen. Maya. He moved closer, and she flinched. He stopped immediately, something like pain crossing his face. I'm sorry you had to see that. But they would have killed you. Or worse. You broke her spine. She'll heal. Werewolves are resilient. You didn't even hesitate. No, he agreed. I didn't. And I won't. Not when it comes to protecting you. Why? The word burst out of her. Why do you care? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything worth this. Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached out slowly and brushed his thumb across her cheekbone, wiping away a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. Because you saved me when you had nothing, he said quietly. Because you asked for $300 when you could have asked for millions. Because you smell like moonflower and silver sage, and that means something I don't think you understand yet. His eyes searched her face. And because every instinct I have is screaming at me to keep you safe. Even if I don't fully understand why. Maya's breath caught. What did you say? About moonflower and silver sage? His expression shifted. What? That's what Mrs. Chen said. Right before your men took her. She said I smelled like moonflower and silver sage. She said it meant something. That I was something. Dominic's entire body went still. When he spoke, his voice was careful. What exactly did she say? She said you were dangerous. That when you realized what I was, Maya stopped. What am I, Dominic? What does it mean? But he was already pulling out his phone, dialing fast. Marcus. I need you to bring Evelyn Chen to the compound. Now. And get the pack historian on the phone. We have a problem. He hung up and looked at Maya. For the first time since she'd met him, he looked uncertain. Come with me, he said. Please. I think there's something we both need to understand. And if I'm right about what you are, he stopped. We need to talk somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't reach you. Who? Everyone, Dominic said grimly. If you are what I think you are, Maya, you're not just in danger from traitors in my pack. You're in danger from every wolf in the world. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 3. Absolutely not. Maya crossed her arms and planted her feet, wishing she had more than 5 feet 4 inches of height to make the gesture more impressive. Dominic towered over her in her cramped apartment, looking like some avenging angel in his blood-splattered suit, and she was done being scared. Done being pushed around. Maya, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. You're the one asking me to abandon my entire life and move into some compound with a bunch of werewolves who apparently want to kill me. Not all of them want to kill you. Most of them just want to meet you. Dominic dragged a hand through his hair, frustration evident in every line of his body. But the ones who do want you dead are highly motivated and extremely dangerous. You were almost killed tonight. And you saved me. Thank you. Now you can leave. I'm not leaving you unprotected. You don't get to decide that. Maya moved to her door and opened it. This is my home. My life. You don't get to just swoop in and take over because you have some antiquated sense of honor. His eyes flashed gold. It's not antiquated. It's survival. You are in danger, Maya. Real danger. Why can't you understand that? I understand perfectly. What you don't understand is that I've been in danger my whole life. I've been poor, sick, alone, and scared for years, and I'm still here. I don't need a white knight. I don't need protection. And I sure as hell don't need to be locked up in some mansion while you figure out who's trying to kill you. It's not a mansion. It's a fortified compound with 24-hour security and I don't care. Maya's voice shook, but she kept going. I won't be kept, Dominic. I won't be another pretty thing you collect. I've seen how your pack looks at you. Like you're a god. Like you own everything and everyone. Well, you don't own me. Something dangerous flickered across his face. He moved so fast she barely saw it, suddenly inches away, his body caging hers against the doorframe. The scent of him, cedar and smoke and that wild something, overwhelmed her senses. You think that's what this is? His voice was low, rough. You think I want to keep you like some pet? Don't you? She forced herself to meet his eyes. Another human conquered by the big bad alpha? Another notch in your belt? You're insufferably human, he growled. Stubborn, proud, foolish. Then leave. Go find someone easier. Someone who'll just roll over and do what you say. For a moment, she thought he might kiss her. Or kill her. His eyes were pure gold now, his pupils dilated, and she could feel the heat radiating off him in waves. Every instinct she had screamed at her to run, but she held her ground. Then he stepped back. Fine, he said, his voice cold. Stay here. Get yourself killed. See if I care. He was out the door before she could respond, moving with that impossible speed. She heard his footsteps on the stairs, fast and angry, and then the slam of the building's entrance. Maya closed her door, locked it, and slid down to sit on the floor. Her hands were shaking. Her whole body was shaking. She'd just thrown out the one person who could actually protect her. Smart, Maya, she whispered to herself. Really smart. But she couldn't do it. Couldn't just give up her independence, her autonomy, everything she'd fought so hard to keep. She'd been taking care of herself since she was 16. She didn't know how to be anything else. Maya pulled herself up and got ready for bed, going through the motions mechanically. Brush teeth. Wash face. Pull on the oversized t-shirt she slept in. Check that the window was locked. Check it again. She lay down on her mattress and stared at the ceiling, listening to the building settle around her. Mrs. Rodriguez's TV through the wall. The couple upstairs fighting again. The distant wail of sirens. Normal sounds. Safe sounds. Maya closed her eyes and tried to sleep. She woke to a hand over her mouth. Maya's eyes flew open. The room was dark, but she could make out shapes, 4 figures standing around her mattress. Strong hands pinned her arms. Someone's knee pressed into her stomach. She tried to scream, but the hand clamped down harder. Shoo, a male voice said. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. They hauled her up. Maya fought, kicking and twisting, but it was like fighting statues. They were impossibly strong, moving with coordinated precision as they dragged her toward the window. The fire escape. One of them opened the window. She'd locked it, she knew she had, but it opened like it had never been secured at all. They pulled her through, and the night air hit her face. Maya could see the street below, see the black SUVs that definitely hadn't been there when she went to bed. Where were Dominic's guards? He'd said he'd leave guards. As if reading her mind, one of her captors laughed. Your Alpha's puppies are taking a nap. Don't worry, they'll wake up with headaches but nothing permanent. We're not animals. They carried her down the fire escape like she weighed nothing. Maya tried to scream again, but someone had stuffed cloth in her mouth. Her eyes watered. Her lungs burned. At the bottom, they shoved her into one of the SUVs. The interior was all black leather and tinted windows. A man sat in the back seat, and even in the darkness, she could tell he was beautiful. They were all beautiful, it seemed to be a werewolf thing. This one had dark hair like Dominic's, but his eyes were ice blue. He smiled at her as they pushed her into the seat beside him. "Hello, Maya. I'm Victor. I'm so pleased to finally meet you." Maya ripped the cloth from her mouth. "Let me go. I'm afraid I can't do that. You see, you're very valuable to me. Or rather, you're valuable to my dear cousin Dominic. And anything that's valuable to him is worth taking." The SUV started moving. Maya looked out the window frantically, trying to memorize the route, but they were going too fast. The city blurred past. "Where are you taking me?" "Somewhere safe. Somewhere Dominic won't find you." "Well," Victor's smile widened. "Not immediately, anyway. I want him to sweat a little first." "Why? What did he do to you?" "What did he do?" Victor laughed, but there was no humor in it. "He was born first. That's what he did. Born an hour before me, and that hour means everything. He gets the throne, the power, the pack. I get to be the spare. The backup. The one who cleans up his messes. So this is about jealousy. This is about justice." Victor's eyes flashed. "Dominic was supposed to mate with my sister, Serafina. It was arranged. Agreed upon by both packs. A union that would have strengthened our bloodlines and secured peace for generations. But what does my noble cousin do? He runs. Literally runs away on the night of the ceremony, getting himself wounded in the process. Do you know how humiliating that was for my family?" Maya remembered what Marcus had said about traitors. "You were the one who attacked him. In the alley." "Me? No. I hired some rogues for that. Wolves with no pack, no loyalty. Easy to manipulate." Victor leaned back. The plan was simple: wound him, weaken him, make him look vulnerable. Then challenge his right to lead. "But you," he poked her shoulder, and she flinched away. "You complicated things. Saved his life. Made him feel indebted to you. I didn't know he was an alpha. I just saw something hurt." "I know. That's what makes it so delicious. You're completely innocent in all this. Just a good-hearted human who made the wrong choice." Victor's expression hardened. "But that doesn't matter now. What matters is that Dominic cares about you. Enough to break protocol and put guards on your building. Enough to threaten wolves who look at you wrong. Enough to make him weak. He's not weak. Feelings make everyone weak, little human. Especially feelings for someone as fragile as you." Victor pulled out his phone. "Now sit tight. We have a long drive ahead of us, and I need to send your alpha a message." He typed something quickly, then held up the phone to take a picture. Maya tried to move, but one of the other wolves grabbed her hair, forcing her head still. The flash went off. "Perfect," Victor said, examining the photo. "You look appropriately terrified. That should motivate him nicely. Dominic will kill you for this. Dominic will have to find me first. And by the time he does," Victor's smile was all teeth. "Well, let's just say the situation will have changed significantly." They drove for over an hour, leaving the city behind for dark roads and darker woods. Maya tried to keep track of where they were going, but after the 10th turn, she lost count. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Her inhaler was back at the apartment. Her medication was back at the apartment. Everything was back at the apartment, including the black credit card and the phone with Dominic's number. She was completely alone. The SUV finally stopped at what looked like an old warehouse, surrounded by trees and far from any main roads. They dragged her inside, and Maya's breath caught. The interior was nothing like the exterior. Instead of dust and decay, she found polished floors and expensive furniture. Dozens of wolves moved through the space, all of them stopping to watch as Victor pulled her through. "Put her in the back room," Victor ordered. "And make sure she's comfortable. We need her alive and unharmed. For now." They locked her in what looked like a storage room that had been converted into a makeshift cell. There was a cot, a bucket, and nothing else. No windows. One door with a heavy lock. Maya sank onto the cot and tried not to panic. Dominic would come. He had to come. Even if they'd fought, even if she'd thrown him out, he'd said she was under his protection. He'd meant it. She'd seen it in his eyes. He would come. She just had to survive until he did. Time became meaningless in the windowless room. Maya might have been there for hours or days. No one came except to bring her water and stale sandwiches. She could hear voices outside, but they were muffled, indistinct. She was dozing when the noise started. Not voices. Howls. Maya jerked awake. The howls were getting closer, louder. Not one or two, but dozens. Maybe more. A chorus of wolves that made her blood run cold. Then she heard the screams. The door to her room burst open. Victor stood there, and his handsome face was twisted with rage. "Get up. Now. What's happening? Your alpha's here." With his entire fucking pack. Victor grabbed her arm and hauled her up. "Come on. You're my insurance policy." He dragged her through the warehouse. Maya could see wolves fighting, some in human form, some shifted, all of them moving with brutal efficiency. Blood splattered the walls. Bodies lay on the floor, some moving, some not. And then she saw him. Dominic stood in the center of the chaos like a god of war. He'd shifted, not fully, but partially. His face was elongated, his hands tipped with claws, his eyes blazing gold. He moved through Victor's wolves like they were nothing, tearing through them with vicious precision. Behind him, his pack fought with organized fury. 50 wolves or more, all of them moving like parts of a single organism. It was terrifying. Magnificent. "Dominic!" Victor shouted. "Call them off, or I'll kill her." Everything stopped. Every wolf froze. Every eye turned to Victor, who now had Maya pressed against his chest with claws extended at her throat. She could feel the sharp points pressing into her skin. Dominic's eyes locked onto Maya's. For a moment, his expression was completely inhuman, pure predator, pure rage. Then he shifted back to human form, and his face smoothed into something controlled. "Let her go, Victor." "I don't think so." Victor's breath was hot on her ear. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to step down as alpha. You're going to name me as your successor. And you're going to accept the mating bond with Serafina. Do all that, and the human lives. You know I can't do that. Then she dies." The claws pressed harder. Maya felt blood trickle down her neck. "Victor," Dominic's voice was strained. "Think about this. You kill her, and there's nothing stopping me from tearing you apart. You know I will. You've always known I'm stronger. But are you faster?" Victor smiled. "Want to find out?" For a moment, no one moved. No one breathed. Then Marcus, the blonde beta, spoke from somewhere behind Dominic. "Alpha, we have a clear shot." "No," Dominic said. "Too risky." "But." "I said no." Dominic's eyes never left Maya's face. "Victor, name your terms. What do you really want?" "I told you." "No. What you really want. Not this theater. What will it take for you to let her go?" Victor was quiet for a moment. Then his grip shifted, and Maya felt the claws at her throat move to her shoulder. Still dangerous, but not immediately fatal. "A challenge," Victor said. "Right to rule. We fight, one-on-one. Winner takes the pack. Loser submits or dies." "Fine. Let her go first." Do you think I'm stupid? She stays until. Victor never finished the sentence. Maya didn't see who threw the punch, but she felt Victor's grip loosen. She dropped to the floor and rolled, instinct taking over. Someone grabbed her, Marcus, she realized, and hauled her backward, away from the fighting. But not fast enough. Victor's claws lashed out wildly as he fought off whoever had attacked him. Maya felt a burning pain across her ribs, saw blood bloom across her shirt. The world tilted. Silver, Marcus breathed. His claws are laced with silver. The warehouse erupted into chaos again. Maya tried to stand, but the pain was spreading. Not just her ribs, everywhere. Her veins felt like they were on fire. Dominic. Marcus shouted. She's poisoned. Suddenly he was there, scooping her up like she weighed nothing. His face swam in her vision, amber eyes wide with panic, blood splattered across his jaw. Maya, look at me. Stay with me. Hurts, she managed. I know. I know, baby, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He was running now, carrying her. She could hear the pack around them, fighting, screaming. Marcus. Clear a path to the vehicles. Now. Dominic, Maya's voice was weak. The world was getting darker around the edges. Am I dying? His arms tightened around her. No. You're not. I won't let you. Feels like dying. They burst out of the warehouse into cold night air. Maya could see the moon, huge and bright and beautiful. She'd never seen it look so clear before. Get the med kit, Dominic barked at someone. And call Dr. Gray. Tell him it's silver poisoning. Tell him, his voice broke. Tell him I need him now. They loaded her into an SUV. Dominic climbed in beside her, cradling her against his chest. Maya could feel his heartbeat, racing, panicked. Hers was slowing down. There's only one cure, someone said. Marcus? She couldn't tell anymore. You know what you have to do. No. The survival rate. It's better than 0. Which is what she has right now. I won't risk it. Get Gray on the phone. Get him on the fucking phone. Dominic. Maya reached up, her hand shaking. Found his face. Those beautiful amber eyes. I'm going to die anyway, aren't I? If you don't do it? Maya. Tell me the truth. His jaw clenched. Yes. Silver poisoning is always fatal for humans. We don't have the ability to heal it. Then do it. Her voice was barely a whisper. Whatever it is. I'd rather die trying to live than waste away. I watched my mom do that. In a hospital bed, getting weaker every day. I won't, she coughed, tasted blood. I won't go out like that. You don't understand what you're asking. The bite of a true alpha can turn a human, but the survival rate is 10%. 10%, Maya. Those aren't good odds. Better than 0, she echoed Marcus's words. You'll hate me. If you survive, you'll hate me for what I'm about to do to you. I could never hate you. The words felt true, even though she barely knew him. Please, Dominic. Don't let me die. Not like this. He looked at Marcus. At whoever else was in the vehicle. His face was anguished. Do it, Alpha, Marcus said quietly. It's her choice. Honor it. Dominic turned back to Maya. Cupped her face with one hand. I'm sorry, he whispered. For all of this. I'm so sorry. Then he shifted. His face elongated, his teeth lengthening into fangs. His eyes blazed pure gold. He was magnificent and terrifying, and Maya should have been scared. She wasn't. Do it, she breathed. He bit down on her shoulder. The pain was instantaneous and absolute. Maya screamed, arching against him, but his arms held her steady. She could feel his venom entering her bloodstream, feel it racing through her veins like liquid fire. And then something else. Something that felt like electricity, like lightning, like the universe expanding inside her chest. Dominic jerked back with a gasp. His eyes were wide with shock. What? Marcus leaned forward. Alpha, you're Mark. Maya looked down at her shoulder where Dominic had bitten. The wound was already healing, but in its place was something else. A mark. Intricate and beautiful, like a tattoo of a crescent moon surrounded by swirling patterns. In silver. Not black. Silver. That's not possible, someone whispered. The entire vehicle had gone silent. Every eye was locked on Maya's shoulder. Dominic's hand shook as he touched the mark. Fated mates, he breathed. It's real. It's actually real. What does that mean? Maya's voice was getting weaker. The pain was overwhelming everything now. It means, he pulled her tighter against him. It means you're mine. And I'm yours. It means we were made for each other. Destined. He looked up at Marcus, and there were tears in his eyes. She has to survive. She has to. If she doesn't. She will, Marcus said firmly. The survival rate for fated mates is much higher. She'll make it. But Maya didn't hear his answer. The darkness was pulling her under, and this time, she couldn't fight it. The last thing she heard was Dominic's voice, rough with emotion. Stay with me, Maya. Please. I just found you. Don't leave me now. Then nothing. She woke to birdsong. That was the first thing Maya noticed, the sound of birds outside, clear and bright and impossibly loud. She could hear each individual chirp, could distinguish between species. Robins. Sparrows. A blue jay somewhere further away. The second thing she noticed was the smell. Cedar and smoke and something wild. Dominic. She could smell him even before she opened her eyes. The third thing was how good she felt. No pain. No tightness in her chest. No irregular heartbeat. Just strength, flowing through her like she'd never experienced before. Maya opened her eyes. She was in a massive bedroom. No, bedroom was too small a word. This was a suite, all dark wood and expensive furniture and floor-to-ceiling windows that showed a forest stretching into the distance. Morning light streamed through, almost painfully bright. She sat up, and the world tilted in a strange way. Everything was sharper. Clearer. She could see dust motes dancing in the sunbeams, could count the threads in the sheets beneath her. Easy. Maya turned. Dominic sat in a chair beside the bed, and he looked terrible. Bruised shadows under his eyes. Rumpled clothes. At least 2 days' worth of stubble. How long? She asked. Her voice sounded different. Stronger. 3 days. You've been unconscious for 3 days. He stood up slowly, like he wasn't sure of his welcome. How do you feel? Good. Really good, actually. Which is weird because I should feel. Memory crashed back. The kidnapping. Victor. The silver claws. The bite. Oh God. What did you do to me? I saved your life. You turned me into a werewolf. You were dying. You told me to do it. You said. I know what I said. Maya looked down at her hands. They looked normal. But when she concentrated, she could feel something else beneath the surface. Power. Strength. Something wild and primal. But I didn't really believe. I know. Dominic moved closer. I'm sorry. I should have explained more. Should have given you time to understand what you were choosing. But there wasn't time, and I couldn't. His voice broke. I couldn't let you die. Maya touched her shoulder where he'd bitten. The silver mark was still there, beautiful and strange beneath her fingertips. Fated mates, she said quietly. What does that really mean? It means we're bound. Soul to soul. It happens once in a century, if that. Most wolves never find their fated mate. They choose partners, form bonds, but it's not like this. He gestured to the mark. This is permanent. Unbreakable. You'll always know where I am. I'll always know where you are. Your emotions will affect mine. Mine will affect yours. He stopped. We're two halves of one whole. And you didn't know? Before you bit me? No. I suspected you were special, the scent, the way you made me feel, but I didn't know for certain until the mark appeared. He ran a hand through his hair. Maya, I know this is overwhelming. I know you probably hate me right now. But I swear to you, I will do everything in my power to make this right. To help you adjust. 2. I don't hate you, Maya interrupted. He stared at her. You don't? I'm terrified. Confused. Angry that you didn't explain more before. But I don't hate you. She met his eyes. You saved my life. Again. That's twice now. And I put you in danger both times. Victor was right, you're a target because of me. Victor's an asshole. And from what I remember, he's the one who poisoned me. A knock at the door interrupted them. Marcus entered without waiting for permission, his expression grim. Alpha, we need to talk. The pack is gathering. Tell them I'm not available. It's not a request. They're calling for a trial. Dominic went very still. On what grounds? You turned a human without her informed consent. You broke the law. She was dying. And she gave consent, she told me to do it. She was delirious from silver poisoning. Her consent doesn't count legally. Marcus looked at Maya with something like pity. I'm sorry. But Victor is pushing for this. He's claiming you're compromised. That your feelings for a weak human born make you unfit to lead. Let him try, Dominic growled. I'll tear his throat out. You can't. Not until the trial is over. Pack law. Marcus's jaw tightened. Alpha, this is serious. If they rule against you. They won't. But if they do, you'll be stripped of your title. Exiled. And Victor becomes Alpha. He glanced at Maya again. And her fate will be decided by the pack. Without your protection. The room went silent. Maya stood up, and both men turned to her. She was wearing borrowed clothes, someone's t-shirt and sweatpants, but she straightened her spine and lifted her chin. Then we go to the trial, she said. And we fight. Dominic smiled, a real smile, small but genuine. We? You said we're fated mates. Two halves of one whole. That means your fight is my fight. She walked over to him, stopped close enough to feel his heat. So yes. We. He cupped her face with both hands, his thumbs brushing her cheekbones. You're sure? This could get ugly. I'm sure. Then we fight, he said. And kissed her. It was soft and gentle and tasted like promises. When he pulled back, his eyes were glowing gold. Together, he whispered. Together, Maya agreed. And tried not to think about what would happen if they lost. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 4. The council chamber was carved from stone that looked older than civilization itself. 12 thrones arranged in a circle, each one occupied by an alpha whose power Maya could feel pressing against her skin like a physical weight. They were ancient, not in appearance, werewolves aged slowly, but in the way they carried themselves. Like they'd witnessed empires rise and fall. Maya stood in the center of the circle, and 12 pairs of eyes watched her with expressions ranging from curiosity to outright hostility. Dominic stood against the far wall with Marcus and the rest of his pack. Pack law forbade him from speaking during Maya's trial. He could only watch. She could feel his presence through their bond, a steady pulse of warmth and worry that helped calm her racing heart. Maya Elena Martinez, the alpha directly in front of her, spoke. She was a woman who looked about 50 but was probably 10 times that, with silver white hair and eyes like chips of ice. You stand accused of being an abomination. A human turned without proper protocol, without informed consent, and without the approval of this council. How do you plead? Maya lifted her chin. Not guilty. Murmurs rippled through the gathered wolves, hundreds of them, crowding the edges of the massive chamber. This wasn't just a trial. It was a spectacle. You were human, another alpha said. This one was male, dark-skinned, with scars covering his arms. You were turned by an alpha who acted out of emotion rather than reason. That makes you weak. Tainted. I was dying, Maya said, keeping her voice steady. I was poisoned with silver by traitors to this pack. Dominic saved my life. That doesn't make me weak. That makes me a survivor. You asked him to turn you while delirious, the ice-eyed woman continued. Your consent is questionable at best. By law, that makes the turning illegal. I gave consent. I remember every word I said. I chose this. You chose it because you were dying and desperate. Not because you understood what you were choosing. Maya felt anger spark in her chest. Don't tell me what I understand. I've been fighting to survive my entire life. I know exactly what sacrifice looks like. What hard choices feel like. And I made mine with full knowledge of the consequences. The scarred alpha leaned forward. But did you know you would bear the mark of a fated mate? Did you know you would be bound to our alpha king for eternity? Did you know you would become a target for every wolf who opposes his rule? No, Maya admitted. But I know now. And I'd make the same choice again. Brave words, a third alpha spoke, a man with red hair and a cruel smile. But bravery doesn't make you worthy. You're human-born. Weak blood. You'll never be one of us, no matter what mark you wear. Then test me, Maya said. The words came out before she could stop them, but once they were out, she committed. You want to know if I'm worthy? Prove it. Give me your trials. I'll pass them all. The chamber erupted. Wolves shouted, some in approval, some in outrage. The alphas exchanged glances. The ice-eyed woman raised her hand, and silence fell instantly. You invoke the right of proving? She asked. I do. Do you understand what that means? 3 trials. Combat, wisdom, and sacrifice. Fail any one, and you will be executed. No exceptions. No mercy. Maya felt Dominic's alarm spike through their bond, but she didn't look at him. Couldn't look at him. If she saw his face, saw his fear, she might lose her nerve. I understand, she said. The ice-eyed woman smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Then let the trials begin. The first week had been hell. Not the trial, that would come later. But the transformation itself, learning to live in a body that no longer felt entirely human. Maya woke each morning to senses so acute they bordered on painful. She could hear conversations 3 floors below. Could smell what everyone had eaten for breakfast. Could feel the vibrations of footsteps through the floor. And the wolf. God, the wolf. It lived inside her now, a presence in the back of her mind that was both her and not her. It had instincts, desires, drives that sometimes conflicted with her human side. It wanted to hunt. To run. To protect its mate with vicious intensity. Dominic had moved her into his private quarters, a sprawling suite at the top of the compound. She'd argued at first, clinging to some notion of independence, but he'd been right. She needed help. Needed someone who understood what she was going through. Besides, the bond made separation painful. Physical distance felt wrong now, like being stretched too thin. "You're doing it again," Dominic said from the doorway. Maya looked up from where she'd been staring at her hands. "Doing what?" "Overthinking." He crossed the room and sat beside her on the bed. "I can feel it through the bond. You're spiraling. I can sense emotions now. Did you know that?" Maya turned to face him. "It started 3 days ago. I can feel what people are feeling. Not thoughts, exactly, but intentions. Emotions. It's like everyone's radiating their feelings, and I'm picking them up." Dominic's expression shifted. "That's rare. Empath wolves are born maybe once in a generation." "Great. So I'm a freak even among werewolves." "You're special," he corrected, taking her hand. "And there's something else, isn't there? Something you haven't told me." Maya hesitated, then pushed up her sleeve. The silver mark had spread since the turning. What had started as a crescent moon on her shoulder now traced down her arm in intricate, swirling patterns. Beautiful and strange. "It's growing," she said quietly. "And yesterday, when Marcus accidentally touched silver in the training room, it burned him. But when I touched it..." She met Dominic's eyes. "Nothing. It didn't hurt at all." He stared at the mark, then at her face. "Silver resistance. I've only read about it in the old texts." "Maya, do you understand what this means? That I'm even more of an anomaly? That you're potentially the most powerful wolf in this compound." He traced the silver patterns with his finger. "Silver is our one true weakness. If you're immune, if you can handle it without harm, you could turn our greatest vulnerability into a weapon. If I survive the trial..." "You will." He said it with such certainty that Maya almost believed him. "I've been watching you train. You're stronger than you think. Faster. Your instincts are solid. But I've only been a wolf for a week. How am I supposed to compete against wolves who've had centuries of practice?" "Because you're not just any wolf." Dominic cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. "You're mine. And I don't choose weak mates." Before Maya could respond, someone knocked on the door. Marcus entered without waiting for permission, his expression troubled. "Alpha, there's someone here to see her." "The prisoner. Evelyn Chen. She's asking to speak with Maya before the trial." Maya's heart jumped. "Mrs. Chen? She's alive?" "Barely. She's been in the cells since we found her." Marcus looked uncomfortable. "She says it's urgent. That there are things Maya needs to know before she faces the council." Dominic's jaw tightened. "It could be a trap. Or it could be answers," Maya said. "She tried to warn me, remember? Before your enforcers took her. She said I smelled like moonflower and silver sage. She knew something." "Fine. But I'm coming with you." "No," Marcus said. "She'll only speak to Maya alone." Those were her terms. The bond flared with Dominic's protective instinct, but Maya squeezed his hand. "I'll be okay. Marcus will be there. I don't like this." "I know. But I need answers, Dominic. About what I am. Why this is happening to me." She stood up. "I have to go." The cells were deep beneath the compound, carved from the same ancient stone as the council chamber. They smelled of damp earth and old fear. Maya followed Marcus through corridors lit by flickering torches, trying not to think about how far underground they were. Mrs. Chen's cell was at the very end. The old woman sat on a narrow cot, and when she looked up at Maya's approach, her eyes were clear and sharp. "You survived," she said. "The turning. I wasn't sure you would. You knew this would happen? That Dominic would turn me? I knew you were special. Knew the moment I caught your scent." Mrs. Chen stood slowly, wincing. She looked friendlier than Maya remembered. "Come closer, child." Let me see the mark. Maya approached the bars cautiously. When she was close enough, Mrs. Chen reached through and touched the silver patterns on her arm. The old woman's eyes widened. Silver and shadow, she whispered. The prophecy is real. What prophecy? Sit. This will take time, and we don't have much. Mrs. Chen sank back onto her cot. What do you know about your mother, Maya? The question caught her off guard. My mother? She died in a car accident when I was 16. What does that have to? What if I told you that wasn't the whole truth? Mrs. Chen's gaze was piercing. What if I told you your mother didn't die in that accident? That she was murdered. And that she was one of us. Maya's blood ran cold. That's not possible. My mother was human. She was sick. She had the same illness you have? The one that required expensive medication? Medicine you couldn't always afford? Mrs. Chen smiled sadly. Those weren't treatments, child. They were suppressants. Your mother was giving you wolfsbane and silver dust in tiny doses. Just enough to keep your wolf dormant. To keep you human. No. No, but even as Maya protested, pieces started clicking into place. The medication she could never identify. The way doctors could never diagnose her condition. The strange looks her mother used to give her during full moons. Your mother was Elena Ravenswood, Mrs. Chen continued. Last surviving member of the Ravenswood pack, a bloodline thought extinct 25 years ago. She fled when your father's family was slaughtered in a power struggle. She was pregnant with you. She ran to the human world and hid you both with suppressants and magic. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to understand what you are. You're not human-born, Maya. You're pure-blooded. Royal blood. The Ravenswoods were one of the original packs. Their lineage goes back thousands of years. Your blood is older and stronger than most wolves in this compound, including the council. Maya's head spun. But I don't remember any of this. I don't remember being anything but human. That's because the suppressants worked. They kept your wolf buried so deep you never knew it existed. But it was always there, waiting. And when Dominic bit you, when he turned you, it didn't create a wolf. It woke one up. The prophecy, Maya said slowly. What does it say? Mrs. Chen's expression grew grave. When silver mates with shadow, when moon-marked joins with night's crown, the old hierarchies will fall. A new queen will rise, and she will unite all territories under one rule. The age of division will end. And Victor knows about this? Victor's family has ruled the northern territories for 300 years. They've kept their power through carefully arranged matings and brutal elimination of rivals. If the prophecy comes true, if you unite the territories, the Ashford line loses everything. Mrs. Chen leaned closer. He's not trying to take the throne from Dominic, child. He's trying to prevent you from taking it from them both. Maya stood up, pacing the small space in front of the cell. This is insane. I don't want to rule anything. I just want to survive. Unfortunately, survival and destiny are often at odds. Mrs. Chen's voice softened. But there's more you should know. About the woman who's been helping you. Serafina. What about her? Don't trust her. Serafina had appeared the morning after Maya woke from her transformation. Beautiful, graceful, and surprisingly kind. She'd offered to help Maya learn control, to understand her new abilities. For the past week, she'd been Maya's primary trainer. She's been poisoning you, Mrs. Chen said flatly. Small doses of silver in your food. Not enough to kill, not yet. But enough to weaken you before the trial. Maya felt her stomach drop. How do you know? Because I can smell it on you. The silver compound is subtle, designed to mimic normal silver exposure. But I was a healer before I went into hiding. I know the signs. Mrs. Chen's eyes were hard. Serafina was supposed to mate with Dominic. That bond was arranged since they were children. When he rejected her, ran from the ceremony, she was humiliated. Her family lost status. She loves him, child. Obsessively. And she'll kill you to get him back. Why help me at all, then? Why teach me to fight? To get close. To earn your trust. And to make sure you're strong enough that when you die during the trial, it looks legitimate. Mrs. Chen reached through the bars again, gripping Maya's arm. The trial is in 2 hours. Don't eat or drink anything Serafina gives you. And watch your back during combat. She'll try to make it look like an accident. I need to tell Dominic. No time. The trial is starting. And Pak law forbids him from interfering. Mrs. Chen's grip tightened. You're on your own, Maya Ravenswood. But you're stronger than you know. Your mother's blood flows in your veins. Remember that. The first trial was combat. Maya stood in the center of a massive arena carved from the same ancient stone. Thousands of wolves filled the seats, their voices creating a roar that made her ears ring. The 12 alphas sat in a special box, watching with predatory interest. Across from her, Serafina stretched languidly. She wore fitted training clothes that showed off her perfect figure, and her smile was all teeth. Nothing personal, Serafina called out. But you're not good enough for him. You'll never be good enough. Maya didn't respond. She could feel it now, the malice radiating from Serafina like heat. How had she missed it before? How had she trusted this woman? The eyeside alpha stood. First trial, combat. Fight until submission or death. Begin. Serafina moved fast, faster than Maya had seen her move in training. She closed the distance in a blur, claws extending. Maya barely dodged, feeling the air whistle past her face. Too slow, Serafina taunted. Is the silver making you sluggish? Poor thing. So Mrs. Chen had been right. Maya felt anger surge through her, and the wolf responded. She could feel it now, just beneath her skin, powerful, primal, ready. The next time Serafina lunged, Maya was ready. She sidestepped and brought her elbow down on Serafina's spine. The other woman gasped and stumbled. Lucky hit, Serafina snarled. She shifted partially, face elongating, claws growing longer. Let's see how you handle a real wolf. They clashed again, and this time Maya let her wolf rise too. The world sharpened. Time seemed to slow. She could see every move Serafina was about to make, could feel the other woman's intentions through her empathic sense. Anger. Jealousy. Obsessive love twisted into hatred. Maya used it. Every time Serafina attacked, Maya was already moving, already countering. They fought across the arena in a blur of claws and teeth and blood. The crowd roared its approval. But Maya could feel herself weakening. The silver in her system was taking its toll. Her movements were getting slower. Sloppier. Serafina noticed. Her smile widened. There it is, she said. The poison finally kicking in. Did you think I'd let you win? Did you think I'd let you take what's mine? She lunged, going for Maya's throat. Maya didn't think. She reacted. Her hand shot out and caught Serafina's wrist, and the silver mark on her arm blazed with light. Where their skin touched, Serafina screamed. The silver patterns were burning her. Maya threw her across the arena. Serafina hit the wall hard and slid down, gasping. Yield, Maya said. Never. Serafina charged again. This time, Maya was ready. She shifted fully, felt her bones crack and reform, felt fur sprout along her skin. The transformation hurt, but it was also glorious. Powerful. Right. Her wolf was silver. Pure silver, like moonlight given form. The entire arena went silent. Maya met Serafina's charge with one of her own. They collided in the center of the arena, and it was over in seconds. Maya had her by the throat, teeth pressed to the jugular, claws digging into Serafina's chest. One bite. That's all it would take. Through the bond, she could feel Dominic's pride. His fierce joy. But also his worry. He was wondering if she'd do it. If she'd kill. Maya looked up at the council. At the thousands of watching wolves. At Dominic standing rigid in his pack section, his eyes glowing gold. Then she looked down at Serafina. Yield, Maya said again. Kill me, Serafina spat. I won't live with this shame. Then learn to live with mercy instead. Maya released her and stepped back, shifting to human form. I won't kill you. You're not worth the blood on my conscience. The arena erupted. Some wolves cheered. Others shouted in outrage. The council conferred among themselves. Finally, the Eyeside Alpha stood. First trial, passed. The human-born shows mercy. A true leader's trait. She paused. But mercy without strength is weakness. The second trial begins at sunset. Prepare yourself. The second trial was wisdom. They presented Maya with an ancient dispute between two packs, a blood feud that had lasted 3 generations. She had 2 hours to study the history and propose a solution that both sides would accept. Maya locked herself in a room with Marcus and stacks of documents that smelled like dust and old violence. Her head still spun from Mrs. Chen's revelations. Her body still ached from the fight. And the silver in her system was getting worse. She could feel it now, a cold poison spreading through her veins. You need to rest, Marcus said, watching her with concern. Can't. Trial starts in, Maya checked the time. 90 minutes. You're not going to last through the third trial at this rate. I don't have a choice. Maya forced herself to focus on the documents. 2 packs fighting over territory. Over hunting rights. Over some ancient insult that no one even remembered the origin of anymore. It was stupid. All of it. Wolves killing each other over pride and old grudges while the real threats, like Victor, went unchallenged. They need a common enemy, Maya said suddenly. What? The 2 packs. They're so focused on fighting each other that they've forgotten what they should really be fighting against. Territory disputes, hunting rights, those are just excuses. They need a reason to unite instead of divide. Marcus's eyes lit up. That could work. But you'd need to convince them their real enemy is worse than each other. And I know exactly what that enemy is. Maya smiled grimly. The old hierarchies. The system that keeps them fighting while the council maintains control. If they unite, they have power. If they stay divided, they stay weak. She spent the next hour crafting her proposal. When she presented it to the council, the 12 alphas listened in stony silence. You propose we dismantle the territorial system, the Eyeside Alpha said. The system that has maintained order for millennia? I propose we evolve it, Maya corrected. The world is changing. Humans are everywhere. Technology makes hiding harder. We need to adapt or go extinct. United territories would be stronger. More resilient. Better equipped to face modern threats. Radical, the scarred alpha said. Dangerous. But not wrong, another added. They conferred again. Maya stood in the center of the chamber, feeling every eye on her. Through the bond, she could feel Dominic's amazement. His pride. Second trial, passed, the Eyeside Alpha announced. You show wisdom beyond your years. But wisdom and mercy mean nothing without sacrifice. The third trial will test what you're truly willing to give up. The third trial was simple in concept. Cruel in execution. They gave Maya a choice. In this vial, the Eyeside Alpha held up a small bottle of silvery liquid, is a compound that will reverse your transformation. It will make you human again. Erase your memories of this world. You'll wake up in your apartment with no knowledge of werewolves, of Dominic, of any of this. You'll have your old life back. Your humanity. Your freedom. Maya stared at the vial. And if I refuse? You accept the bond fully. You become Wolf permanently. You become Dominic's mate for eternity. And you become a target for every wolf who opposes what you represent. You'll never have peace. Never have safety. You'll spend your life fighting battles you never asked for. Some choice, Maya said bitterly. Life is about choices, child. Which do you choose? Safety or love? Humanity or destiny? Maya looked up at where Dominic stood. Their eyes met across the distance, and she felt the bond pulse between them. She could feel his fear. His love. His desperate hope that she'd choose him, but his willingness to let her go if that's what she needed. She'd been surviving on scraps her whole life. Taking the safe choice. The careful choice. Working 3 jobs and going to night school and never asking for more than she absolutely needed. And where had it gotten her? A rundown apartment and $4.23 in her pocket. But then she'd saved a wounded wolf. Had chosen kindness over caution. Had chosen to help even when it cost her everything. That choice had led her here. To power. To belonging. To a man who looked at her like she was the entire universe. I choose the bond, Maya said. The Eyeside Alpha's expression didn't change. You're certain? There's no going back. I'm certain. Then accept the mark fully. Let it spread. Let it claim you. Maya didn't understand at first. Then she felt it, the silver mark beginning to move. To grow. It spread from her shoulder down her arm, across her chest, up her neck. The patterns were intricate and beautiful, glowing faintly in the dim light. It hurt. God, it hurt. Like liquid fire in her veins. But Maya stood tall and didn't cry out. She let the mark spread until it covered half her body in swirling silver patterns. Let it brand her as what she was. Dominic's mate. A queen in the making. When it finally stopped, the entire chamber was silent. Third trial, passed, the Eyeside Alpha said quietly. You've shown mercy, wisdom, and sacrifice. You've proven your worth. She stood. Maya Ravenswood, formerly Martinez, you are hereby recognized as a true wolf. Your bond with Alpha King Dominic Ashford is sanctified. Your place in this pack is secured. The chamber erupted in howls. Thousands of wolves celebrating. Maya barely heard them. The silver in her system had reached critical levels. The poison Serafina had been feeding her was taking its final toll. The world tilted. She saw Dominic running toward her, saw him break through the crowd with desperate speed. Then her legs gave out. He caught her before she hit the ground, his arms strong and sure. I've got you, he whispered. I've got you, love. Maya looked up at his face. So beautiful. So worried. Dominic, she managed. There's something I need to tell you. Shoo, save your strength. We'll get the silver out of your system. You're going to be fine. No. Listen. Maya gripped his shirt. I'm pregnant. Everything stopped. Dominic stared at her, shock written across every feature. What? Pregnant. I felt it this morning. Through the bond. I can sense, she coughed, tasted blood. The baby. Our baby. It's there. No. No, Maya, you can't. Werewolf pregnancies are rare. I know. She smiled weakly. Guess I'm special in more ways than one. Around them, the pack had gone silent. Everyone had heard. Everyone knew. Marcus appeared, his face pale. Alpha, we need to get her to medical. Now. If she's pregnant and poisoned. I know, Dominic snarled. He scooped Maya up. Clear a path. Move. The crowd parted. Maya's vision was fading, but she could hear the whispers. Feel the shock radiating from every wolf. A human-born wolf. A fated mate. A queen prophesied. And now a child. Everything was changing. Through her fading consciousness, Maya heard one more thing. Felt it, really, through her empathic sense. Victor was gone. Escaped during the chaos of the trial. And somewhere in the darkness, he was making a phone call. The blood moon rose over the compound, painting everything crimson. Maya floated in and out of consciousness. She could hear Dominic's voice, sharp with command. Could hear doctors working on her. Could feel the bond pulsing with his fear. But she could also hear something else. Through the walls, through the building, echoing across the entire territory. Howls. The pack was howling for her. For their new queen. For the future she represented. It was beautiful and terrifying. In the shadows outside the compound, Victor stood with his phone pressed to his ear. His face was a mask of cold fury. The girl survived, he said. Not only survived, she triumphed. The council has recognized her. The pack has accepted her. And she's carrying Ashford's child. The voice on the other end was smooth, ancient, dangerous. Then it's time, it said. Activate Phase 2. Wake the hunters. If prophecy has named her queen, then we'll ensure she never lives long enough to take the throne. Victor smiled. And the Ashford line? Wipe them out. All of them. Leave no one alive to challenge us when the dust settles. It will be done. Victor hung up and looked back at the compound. At the wolves howling under the blood moon. At the light in the medical wing where Maya fought for her life. Enjoy your victory, cousin, he whispered. It won't last long. Then he melted into the darkness, already planning his revenge. Inside, Maya's eyes opened. The silver had been purged from her system. The baby was safe. She was alive. And through the bond, she could feel Dominic's overwhelming relief. His joy. His fierce, protective love. But she could also feel something else. A darkness on the horizon. A storm coming. The hunters were waking. And the real war was just beginning. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and like this video to continue listening to this type of story daily and also, to appreciate this community too. I would like to know the country in which you are in, listening to this story. Which country is that? Please comment below.